So these potatoes, we just did our traditional method. We tilled right where the potatoes are gonna be planted before we planted them. As they grew, we tilled in between and hilled them up. And that has always worked good for us, but it takes a lot of time to do that, and we seem to have to deal with a lot more weeds. We'll show you some other places where we planted potatoes, some other methods where we didn't really till at all, and we'll see what kind of crop we get out of those areas.
My brother Gideon and I, we grew these back in our garden, which are we just picked, and they're getting to a nice, very long, good size.
Mom, I pulled out a carrot. Look at it. It's huge.
You're supposed to be weeding, not pulling out carrots.
This one's worth it.
I'm hoping to maybe move away from having to till this at all. Potatoes are the only thing that we till at this point.
I found one, Jackie.
You found one? Nice.
Hey, did I find potatoes? Yes.
Like digging for gold nuggets or something.
Some nice potatoes.
We've actually never harvested all of our potatoes by hand like this. We usually use a potato digger. But the reason we wanted to try without the potato digger this year is because when we use the potato digger, it goes so deep. It pulls up the really hard ground below where the potatoes actually grow. And we really didn't want to have all that mixing with our fertile soil and bringing up weed seed and whatnot.
Soil's loose enough too that we don't have to use a potato fork. When you have nice potatoes, it's about the most fulfilling job probably.
We're just finishing up harvesting the potatoes from the 5 rows that we have done traditionally by tilling and hilling. Then we're going to head to the potatoes we planted in the no-dig hill and see if we notice any difference in size and quality.
What are you doing? You're walking in the field.
Ninja, are you coming? Walking in the field.
So now we're in our row potatoes that we trialed, where we had our raised bed like this, and we furrowed in it, planted the potatoes in. Then as they grew up, once they're about to form potatoes, we came and we mulched heavily with horse manure, or composted horse manure. So here you can see all the horse manure we have on top. And we've actually been getting really nice potatoes out of these, and they've actually been a lot cleaner and a lot smoother, less disease. Now, one thing we have noticed, which we probably need to put more horse manure on, or more compost on, is that we got a little bit of greening.
I don't know if you can
But
see
that's
yeah.
not the plant's problem, that's our problem of not putting enough cover on the potatoes. So here I'll pull a plant. Let's see what we get from this one. You can kind of see how easily they pull out of here. So they all didn't come up, but we'll count here what we got from this plant here. There's 4.
Yep, you can sit in there, help him up, Ari, and get it a little ways away from the fire. You get it away from the fire.
But that's pretty good. From one plant we got,
From
so we
that
got
one.
about 10 potatoes from that one plant. That's pretty good in about a 1-foot spot. So we'll pull this next one too and see what we get from that one.
And these have been a lot easier to pull out.
Yeah, and you really have to dig for them too. See, this one has a little bit of greening there.
Going from the tilled and hilled section to the no-tilled section. These potatoes have been a lot easier to pull out
They have, yeah.
than the section that we tilled and hilled.
Yep. And we'll have another, we'll show you in a little bit here, another trial that we did where we had our compost on the ground and we planted through the compost. Instead of adding the compost later, we put it on initially. And that'd be more of a Charles Dowding style of potatoes.
Just planting them really deep.
Yep.
But this row also has, we've had
Nice one.
hardly any weeds to deal with in this row,
Yeah.
which has been amazing compared to the other rows that, well, you saw they were, they're still a little bit weedy, and we've weeded them multiple times.
What are you doing, Z? Is Numa gonna camp? Huh? She's gonna camp? Where's Numa's bed? Oh, there it is. She has her own bed. Numa's gonna go camping?
No, we don't sleep.
Oh, she's gonna sleep? Okay.
15 potatoes from that one. That's pretty good haul
You
for that
left
one.
a little one on there.
See this one, that's the seed potato. We don't want that one. The others-
16, 17.
I need a drink.
You need a drink?
Very much so.
I need some shade. Okay, turn it the other way. It's not as consistent on that side.
It's a nursing mother who just nursed on this side. Sean's probably taking a video.
I am. Another
See, this is
embarrassing
what-
moment for Andrew.
This is what happens when your soil's clumpy. You get odd potatoes like that.
That was our most interesting potato.
Yep. We had some other weird ones, but
But not like that. That was the
No.
best one.
I knew let's try our new trail.
I'm wetting. Don't step on my black.
So here's our harvest from the back. We got newly dug ones are kind of still wet there. You stick out a little bit more. That's from one row. And that's from the bed that we just planted the potatoes in, and then we mulched with compost instead of hilling. And the rest of these potatoes are from 5 rows of how we've traditionally done them. And I would say this way we probably got some bigger ones, bigger than those. But I would say we saw more disease in with these potatoes than those. And I think overall, for one row of doing it this method, we got more from one row of doing it the traditional way.
Because we did 5 traditional rows and 1
Yeah.
no dig.
No, we didn't weigh it to see, but I think just by looking at it, I can easily tell that it's more than here. Yeah, see, like here, what we see is like you get I forget what disease that is, but it causes like a crater. That, or it could be a wireworm actually that got in there. But I didn't see very much at all with this. If anything, we just see a little bit of like the scabbing of the surface, which isn't too bad. A little bit, it's still marketable if you just have a little bit. So yeah, I think it's something to try, maybe stick with in the future.
Hello? Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Think it works. Have you ever seen a boy with funny clothes? A girl with braces on her teeth and freckles on her nose. Some kids call them eyeballs and some kids call them weird. Is it my imagination or does my brother Gideon have a beard? God makes lots of people in all different shapes and sizes. He loves them very much, and what we need to realize is that calling people names because they're different is wrong. Instead, we need to look on them with love and sing this song. I can be your friend, la la la. I can be your friend.
So here we are in our no-dig bed. We trialed some potatoes in our plot here. And what we did here is we had about 3-4 inches of compost on top of the soil. We didn't even till the soil. All we did was you can tell the soil's here, and it's still a little firm, but it's starting to soften up a little bit as the earthworms start working the organic matter. But we wanted to try to see how potatoes did if we just planted through that compost and pretty much laid them right on the surface, and the potatoes were in the compost, growing in the compost.
Lincoln. Gideon. Let's start thinking about Grandma's house with the bacon feather bed. It was 9 feet high, 6 feet wide, soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 4 living beasts in the home of the cross-border tick.
So our plants didn't get quite as bushy, but they did, I will say they probably did better than I thought. The nice thing about this is the potatoes come out so clean. Not quite as good as our other trial where we had a raised bed and we planted about 3 inches down into the soil, and then we put 2-3 inches of forced manure on top once they start growing. But they do say the first year in a no-till system gives you below average results compared to if you would till or dig.
Man hold 8 kids and 4 hound dogs and a pig that we stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed.
But the hope is that next year, I mean, these are still nice. These are a nice size. I mean, next year maybe we'll get twice that many as the soil improves. It was really, really wet this year, and I think part of what happened is these potatoes were in the moisture too long. Because I noticed they were looking nice, and then we got a bunch of rain, and they kind of had a hard time coming out of that. Chickens are definitely interested.
After supper, we'd sit around fire, the old chicken. Paul would talk about the farm in the morning, Granny singing ballad or two. And I'd sit and listen, watch the fire till the goblin fill my head. Next thing I know, I'd wake up in the morning in the middle of the old feather bed.
Overall, I would say I'm pretty pleased. The nice thing is they come out so easy. You don't have to bring in a potato digger or anything to disturb the soil. They just pull right out of here. It'll be interesting to plant another row in this plot once it's been here for a year. See if next year if our results get even better.
Well, I love my mom, love Granny and Grandpa too. I've been fishing with my uncle, wrestling with my cousin. I trade them all for the gal down the road on Grandma's feather bed. I trade them all for the gal down the road on Grandma's feather bed. I'm not sure.
Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Until next time, eat well, live well.